Hey guys, what's up? It's KraDeNine here, and today we're going to be talking about raiding in Final Fantasy XIV, if it's something that you should consider doing while we're still in Shadowbringers, or if you should wait until Endwalker, or just in general, if it's something that might interest you. So, without further ado, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's transition right into what is Final Fantasy XIV raiding like. So, the game does not necessarily prepare you for Savage and Ultimate content. More or less it does prepare you for things like Extreme, but things like Savage and Ultimate are kind of more of the end of the field type of content. It's more of the end game content. It's for players who want more of a challenging time. It does take a lot of time and commitment on release of them until you start learning the patterns and you start getting the boss and their mechanics, as a muscle memory type of thing. So, think of it like this. If a certain boss has a cleave animation, you usually see a half circle orange, little area of effect. In Savage, you don't get that. The boss just cleaves. You do get to see their timer still, and you're able to be like, oh, well, he's about to cleave in about, it looks like half the cast bar, I should move out of the way. And if I don't, you don't see the actual physical cast on the map, only the name and the ability that he may be using to cast it, but that's it. That is an example of what Savage is like. It's also more mechanical heavy. It's more of like you need to move from point A to point B to point A to point C to point A to point D in a certain rotation without maybe doing like bumping into somebody. Again, each boss has its own little twist, and it's difficult. It's something that you need to learn. It's not something you'll get in one day. It's not usually something, that you get in a couple days even. It takes hours, right? And the reason I'm mentioning day, because I don't usually see people raiding for like 24 hours in a day, with some exceptions. Now, I guess I'll do a quick tangent on that. Most groups only raid for about 9 to 10 hours a week. That's kind of the average. You kind of like split it around a couple days. My schedule usually is like Sunday, Monday, and like Thursday or something for, 3 hours each day. So it's totaling 9 hours a week. And that's kind of like the average. Most groups try to make sure you don't get burnt out from the content. And usually this first couple Savage tiers are easy, right? So like Savage is usually split up into 3 releases, 1 through 4, 5 through 8, and then 9 through 12. So the first one usually comes out 2 weeks after the expansion releases, which would be close to December for Endwalker. The second set usually come out about 4 months after that, and then the third set usually comes out between I would say like 4 and 8 depending on the patch cycles and everything going on. I know we had a delayed release on the last set of like raids because of what was happening in 2020. So again, it might depend. It might be the new norm for us, but we'll see what happens. But that's usually the cycle. Every 4 months we get 4 new bosses more or less. And that's kind of the general gist of it. Now, what can you get from raiding, right? If you're doing Savage content, you usually get the best in slot items, as well as a mount on the 4th, 8th, and 12th Savage fight. You get those things. You also get the whole idea of you cleared content that is hard, right? Before other people, or just generally before some people never even touch that kind of content. I know people who have been playing since A Realm Reborn, they just don't touch Savage. It's not for them, and that's fine. So you get something that you have cleared that maybe someone else hasn't, and that's kind of a neat little feeling sometimes. And the mount is always really cool, right? If you get the mount that like no one has, and you're like, whoa, where'd you get that mount? That's always a really cool type of thing too. Now, let's talk about what a static is. It's something that I'm going to be saying quite a bit of times throughout this video. Maybe I've even said it a couple of times without realizing it. A static is a group of 8 players, right? And it would be between the DPS, the tank, and the healers. Every person in that party has a set role, right? So like I might be the red mage of the party, someone else is going to be the dragoon, someone else is the tank, and it's always going to be set classes. Like I'm not changing from red mage to like ninja unless the party is adjusting to that change. And that also means that you guys are going to be meeting a couple times a week to raid. It's kind of like a job or like a schedule or like a meeting like every couple times a week where it's like, all right, between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm raiding with this group of people, and that's it. That we're just raiding to learn the fight. There's going to be a raid leader, there's going to be people posting up strategies, all those kind of things. And the reason why you want to usually get this, because it's the same people. It's usually consistent unless it's just not a good group of people, which at that point I recommend maybe looking for another group. That can happen. I have been in groups where there's no progression and it really sucks sometimes. But I have been in groups where the progression is amazing and it's just like, whoa, that clicked perfectly. You have to find a good party that works for you as well. You know, these are either people you're meeting through Discord, Discord groups, or maybe it's your set of friends, and you meet a couple times a week. You guys raid again. You want to usually be very selfless in this type of situation, because if you miss a day, it's likely that they're not raiding that day, because the whole point of a raid group, a static, is to commit to it, to raid, to get progression as a whole. If you're missing it, they have to find a substitute, and sometimes that substitute might not be up to the mechanic that you're at, or they might just not be someone that's worth really taking it on, because then you lose the progression while your party keeps progressing. So unlike games like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV does not have substitutes for that reason. We can't just tag in a healer and be like, hey, here's all our mechanics and how we do it, good luck. That's not always going to be possible. Same thing applies for Ultimates, but more so, it's harder to get a substitute in Ultimates, especially Alexander Ultimate, because strategies can vary immensely. So there's that kind of thing. And that's kind of a static. You're just a group of friends or a group of people that meet up to just raid, progress, do the content. And you can find this, like I said, through Discords, through making a group of friends, you know, just maybe even going through Party Finder. You don't necessarily need to find a static. You can do Party Finder. I don't recommend it if you are kind of an impatient person, because you will always get random people. You know, it's always going to be different people each time. But the benefit is you get to raid on your time through your own pace. So let's say you're up to let's say the boss has 4 phases. Let's say you're up to the 3rd phase. You can join a Party Finder and say, currently at phase 3, looking for party members at the same phase. So you guys can all progress together. And then once you get to phase 4, you can make another Party Finder. Phase 4 prog, you know, that kind of thing. It's a good way that people do for Ultimate Uwu and Ultimate Ukab, so I guess Bahamut and Ultimate Weapon. And it's a good way to prog, because you know that everyone else is at the same level as you, so you guys can all passively progress, and it just makes things, you know, your own time, your own schedule. A static, like I said, it's static. You have a time, you have a day, and you have a place, and you want to always be consistent, because if you miss it, 7 other people do kind of get screwed because of that. So keep that in mind. If you are joining one, you want to be very selfless. Or if you do have an emergency or you're not feeling very well, let them know in advance. So that way they can plan ahead and be like, okay, let's get a substitute, or let's call off the night and maybe reschedule the day. There's always options. Not every party is going to be mean about it, but I've seen groups where it's like, man, how are you not here? You were supposed to raid. It's like, oh, I'm not feeling well. Well, too bad. I've seen that kind of stuff. It didn't happen to me, fortunately, but I have seen it with some of my friends, and it's not a very pleasant time. So, is it for you? It's something that you need to think about, and I always recommend giving it a shot. Savage is fun. If you have a good group of people, same thing with Ultimate. If you have a good group of friends, a good group of people, just doing content, right, that isn't the main scenario quest, whether it might be mining, gathering, dungeons all the time, roulettes, it's a nice change of pace. It's a boss fight that is hard, and you feel very, very happy. You feel satisfied. You feel like you've made an achievement once you've beaten that boss. It's not something that will always happen in the game, right? Like, clearing an extreme fight doesn't feel as satisfying as clearing a savage fight, or clearing an ultimate fight, more or less, right? There's also Unreal, which is going away temporarily in Endwalker. It will be back in the future, unknown when, but that's for a different day and a different story. And I recommend that you guys try Savage raiding in Shadowbringers. There is currently the Echo buff, which does make things a lot easier, so it's kind of like a stepping stone into Savage. See if you like it, see if you enjoy the time commitment, see if you can handle the mechanics. I tell everyone, even if they don't feel confident in themselves, give it a shot. The worst thing is you mess up, you don't enjoy it, you stop. Best thing happens is that you enjoy it a lot, you want the challenge, you have a good group of friends that you want to just group up with, meet every couple days or weeks or whatever it might be, and just do the content. That's probably the best part of it too. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. I rated a little bit in Stormblood, and then I rated more in Shadowbringers. And in Shadowbringers, I enjoyed it way more because I felt the progression. I enjoyed the boss fights. It was something that I enjoyed more than I did before. So I always try to give it a shot every expansion, and I'm excited for the Endwalker Savage raid and Ultimate raid. And ultimate raids, again, it's a bit harder to do. You can still probably squeeze in Ubu because it is not the hardest ultimate. It's kind of like the hardest Savage, if anything. But Ukab and T, you are in a very slim timeline there. And I kind of hope I answered most of the questions here. I tried to cover what is raiding, what do you get from it, like I said, armor and mounts, what is a static group of people, how do you find a raid group, discords, or make some friends. I'll have a couple discords linked down below. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. How do you know, is it for you? I think it's for everyone if they want to give it a shot. It's just the time commitment might be the problem. And should you try it? Yeah, I think everyone should try it. I like to do these kind of like quick little like summaries at the end just to make sure I covered all the bases, and so you guys kind of like get the gist of the video in case for whatever reason you may have missed something, or maybe you just got tired of me rambling midway, which is possible. I tried to avoid the rambling, but it is kind of hard sometimes because I'm doing this with no script. I just have a little, like a couple bullet points of what to talk about, and that's it. That's my script, I guess. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll gladly answer them. I'm also available to be reached on my Discord server. If you want to just send me a message, by all means, I'll try to help out as many people as I can. And, you know, if you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know down below. I'll try to help out as many people as I can. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and take care.